we always had this argument, right or left-handed? What does it say right there? That's all I gotta say. I hope you heard that. I hope you heard that. The right hand is the right one, obviously. Right there, Mom, right there. I'm usually pretty darn good at doing this off the cuff, but I got some notes so I don't forget anything. Let me get into character real quick. And y'all know I'm a die-hard Carolina boy. But I won't make her cry now. Not this quick. I told her that I would be a Virginia fan this year. Carolina will always take precedence. And yes, they have been whooping up on us, Pastor. They have been whooping up. We're going to change that, though. We got a good class coming in. We're going to change that. Okay. Being in the military, I've done a lot of these things. I've been to a lot of these retirements and different things. And we always acknowledge the VIPs that are in the house. Always. I consider all of you guys VIPs, but I would just like to point out a few people. My parents, my mom, my dad, where's he at? Right behind her. They've been the foundation for a very, very, very long time. I'm so grateful that I had that man right there come into my life when he did. He took care of me. My wife, my kids, Landon's right there. Ava, Nick is right there. His wife, Alexis. Who else? My cousins, all my cousins. My sister, Tanya, where's Sherry? Right there. Where's Davey? Right there. His wife, Tina, Mike, Jerry, everybody that's here, all my close family. I just wanted to recognize you guys real quick and tell you how much I greatly appreciate you being here for this. All right, we're going to do cue cards here. My sister never really called me by my name. It was always big brother or brother. So whenever I got a call, or I call her, it was not hello, it was not hi Danny, it was hey big brother or brother. And I found 2 voicemails this morning on the phone that still have that. And I'm going to figure out how I can keep those. Let's talk about this for a minute. Everybody knows that my sister was a UVA fan. There was 2 anomalies in our family. One's a UVA fan and one's a Wake Forest fan. Everybody else is Duke and Carolina. I knew I could wear this. I could never wear anything that had D-U-K-E on it. Never, ever, ever. Ever, ever, ever. And so you know that. This only goes one way. I'm only going to be a UVA fan. Sorry, you picked wrong. I'm sorry. And my sister's favorite player was Joe Harris. Yes. So she was always calling me, always, hey, he played really well tonight. He plays for the Cavs, right? Yeah.
He plays for the
Nick.
Nets now.
Who?
He plays for the Nets.
Oh, the Nets. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway. By the way, I'm taking more than 5 minutes. So, okay. All right. So I wasn't going to do this. She was my biggest fan. She truly was. Whatever I was doing, she was all in. And Saturday morning, that all changed. I'm absolutely her biggest fan. I love my sister beyond. I'm going to start from the beginning. I remember the day she came home from the hospital, and I didn't understand it. I was 3, just barely 3 still. I was almost 4. I didn't understand what was going on. And I remember this thing getting in the back of the car. And it made a whole lot of noise. Hello, sis. Do you remember that day? Of course you do. 6 weeks late. In the early days, my sister, there wasn't any place that I was going that she didn't want to go. My cousin, Brian right there, my cousin David and Scott, we used to live up on Gary Creek, and we used to tear those mountains up, tear them up. And Millette would always try to tag along, and we'd try to lose her. All right? And my mom would get so mad. Where's your sister? I don't know. Well, you better go find her, you know. There was a time Brian had a go-kart and a mini bike, and we used to, those things were held together by baling wire and bubble gum. Were they not? And I remember one time we were, my sister and I were on the go-kart, and I wasn't paying attention, went up on the bank and I rolled it. And that thing was on top of both of us. And I remember looking over at Let, and she's trying to get out from under it. First of all, I was thinking she was still alive. And secondly, I was like, oh, my mom was gonna kill me. But it scared me to death. It scared me to death. I thought I'd really hurt her, and unfortunately, that was not the case. And another thing we used to like to do, and we rode bikes everywhere. I don't know what kids don't. Do kids still ride bikes all around? You know? We rode bikes everywhere, didn't we? That's all we did. First thing in the morning, shorts on, shirt was optional, shoes was optional. Out the door we went. If we tried to come back in, wasn't happening. The warden right there, and Aunt Bobby, get your behind outside. Out we went. We knew when it was lunchtime because we got hungry, came in, ate, right back out the door. But one of our favorite things was to go to the creek and catch crawdads. And Louisiana folks in the house, we call them crawdads here. They're crawfish there. Crawdads and salamanders, and that's what we do. We'd go around and just flip rocks until we found them, catch them, cool, put it back, go to the next one, right? And that's what we did. And there was creeks all over the place that we did that. But that was a much simpler time. There was no cell phones. There was no. We didn't even have cable TV. Y'all have no idea how lucky you are. Fairview, I thought, would never, ever have cable TV. And when my mom called and said, hey, we got cable hooked up, I was like, shut up. There's no way. But yeah, there was none of that. Our entertainment, we made our own entertainment. And Millette was right there, trying to get in the middle of it. You know, and just being a nuisance, really. But the one thing I do remember very much was she was fearless, absolutely fearless. Nothing rattled her, and when you made her mad, Lord have mercy. And I know where she gets that. I know sometimes you don't like to admit it. She's just like you. Well, I could stand up for 2 hours talking about that. But she was always known as Danny's little sister. For the longest time, she was Danny's little sister. She didn't have a name. But after elementary school, that was the last time we actually went to school together, because I was that much more older than she was. By the time I graduated, when I was a senior in high school, she was just in the 8th grade. So she was at the junior high, and I was at the high school. And elementary school was the last time that I got to go to school with my little sister. And I think after that is when she became, she found her own identity. She wasn't Danny's little sister anymore. She had her own identity at that point in time. I wasn't around, so people started, calling her by her name, I guess. And then, after I graduated high school, I started working at Ingles Warehouse. Anybody here ever worked at Ingles Warehouse? Anybody? What? There's one right back there. So when I started working there, and I worked really strange hours, and I didn't get to see her very much. I was still living at home, but when she was awake, I was asleep. And when she was home in the evenings, I was working. So it was really strange. So we kind of, I didn't get to see her a whole lot. And then one day, she comes to me, and she tells me she's pregnant. And I was floored. And my first words were, "Does mom know?" Nope. Are you going to tell her? Nope. I said, "Girl, you have no idea the position you just put me in. No idea." And it was a very long time before my mom found out that I knew before she did. And what was it? It had to be 25 years? A long time.
This is the first time I hear her with us.
It was a long time. And my mom was mad at me. She was so mad at me. And I told her, what'd I tell you? My sister trusted me with something, and she asked me not to say anything. And I didn't. I caught the wrath afterwards, but it was very much worth the butt chewing that I got. Because my sister trusted me enough to come and tell me that she was pregnant. And yeah, oh man. Things were a little crazy around the house after that. But without all that, we would have this beautiful soul right here, right there, who has in turn given us two more beautiful souls and give us a brother that we love dearly. So I'll take those butt chewings all day long. So shortly, well, it was 3 years after I graduated high school, I decided that I didn't want to be in Fairview, North Carolina anymore. And I wanted to see the world, and what's the best way to see the world? So I joined the military, and I remember leaving, and my sister was tore up. She was tore up. Big brother's leaving. What do I do now? Me being 21, the only care in the world I had was myself. Didn't understand that. And I was, as soon as I got out of basic, I went to training, and then I left and I went to Germany. At the time, West Germany. And I was there for 3 years, and I don't think I really talked to her, hardly at all. I remember standing at a payphone. For you young kids, that's where you put a quarter in. Have the ability to talk to somebody. And over there was German fittings. So I would have a pile of those at a payphone trying to call mom. And they would get on there, and I didn't understand a whole lot of German at the time, but I knew that meant she would come on, put more money in. And then 5 minutes later, I put more money in, So, but, I kind of lost touch with my sister then. And man, I wish I hadn't done that. But it just kind of made everything sweeter when I came home. When I came home, and I got orders to Wyoming, had to look up where it was, we kind of rebuilt that relationship. And I was able to come home on leave more and see the family more and torment him really bad. I loved doing that. So. And then you run high behind your mom's legs. That's okay.
I'm bigger now.
Yeah, I know. You'd still run and hide. Anyway, I love you, and you know that. So I got a chance to start rebuilding that relationship with my sister. We shared a passion for the Redskins, and I will say Redskins because they were going to put the Washington Football Club in her obituary. I was like, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Your mom hated that. Hated it. It was Washington Redskins. We had a passion for the Redskins, the Braves, and AC Reynolds football. And I got the opportunity to come home a couple of times and watch Tevin play football when he was the quarterback at Reynolds. And, you know, my sister was passionate about a lot of things. AC Reynolds is probably as far to the top of the list as anything else. She loved that community. She loved AC Reynolds. She loved the athletic program there. She loved everything about it. And when her little baby boy was a starting quarterback at AC Reynolds, there was just a fire in her eyes. It was amazing to watch how passionate she was to watch her play football. And I never got the opportunity to watch you guys play, and I'm sorry for that, JJ. But the way she loved watching him play. I went to McDowell, that game where you set those records. Y'all killed McDowell that night. Killed it. And I just happened to be home for a friend's wedding, and I made it the opportunity to come see him play football. And what a night it was. 6 touchdowns that night? 3 for 6? Yeah. Yeah, it was a good game. It was a good game. I lost my spot. Yeah, here it is right here. Carolina versus UVA. My sister and I had this thing where if it was game day, she would text me, "You ready?" "I don't know, you ready?" "Okay." And I said, "Hey, you know, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game." And she's like, "No, it's not. We're going to beat y'all. We're going to kick your." And I was like, "Okay, all right." So game days, we were friends off until after the game. After the game, whoever won, be it Carolina or UVA, I mean, seriously, if UVA won that game, it was 10 seconds after the final buzzer. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Ring. Yeah. And just laughing. "We beat y'all." I said, "Yep, we got another one. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll be back." The year 2018, when they were the #1 overall seed in the whole tournament and lost, first team to lose to a 16 seed, I was devastated because I know how she had her heart set on that national championship that year because they were very good. And when they got beat, I almost didn't pick up the phone. I wasn't gonna make fun. I called her, and the first words out of my mouth, "I'm sorry, sis." She goes, "You know what? We deserve to lose that game." I said, "Yeah." I said, "But I know you're heartbroken." She goes, "That's all right. We'll be back." Next year, they won the national championship. Guess who the first phone call was? I called her. And I was ecstatic for her. I was so happy that she finally got to see her beloved team win a national championship. And I don't know if it meant as much to her, that phone call, as it did to me. I had been waiting a long time to make that phone call. I know, oh man, it just meant the world to her to have her team win the national championship. And I am forever grateful that God allowed that to happen before she left this earth. Forever grateful. Later on down the line, well, you know, in 2017, my wife and I got married. And my family came out, and Millette came out. And she got to see my world. She got to see my friends. She got to see the people that I talk about and the people that I deal with every single day. And I was so thrilled to be able to show them around and see things. And I took her after the wedding. I took her up to 10,000 feet in elevation. And there was still snow. It was June, and it was still snow all over the place. And she got out of the car and she's like, brother, there's still snow on the ground. I said, yeah. And it probably will be till late August. And then it won't be here for a month and it starts snowing again. She's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, that's how it happens here. It's Wyoming, 10,000 feet. You know, it's just how it is. She was just in awe of Wyoming. And I've been there for a long time, and I take for granted how beautiful it is. And when you see it through somebody else's eyes for the first time, then you realize how beautiful it really is. And what it meant to her just to share those moments. Ava, you were tiny. It was cold that day, wasn't it? You remember that?
No.
Oh, okay. It was cold that day. You were all bundled. You had your little hoodie. You couldn't just see your face. But, and then they came back. Was it the next year they came back?
I think so.
Yeah, so the next year they came back, and they were going to Cheyenne Frontier Days. Anybody know what Cheyenne Frontier Days is, other than you? Well, anybody know what it is, CFD? Okay. CFD is one of the biggest, largest outdoor rodeos in the world. 10 days of cowboys and yeehaw and country music. And they came out for that, and my sister had so much fun just going to the rodeo, hanging out, watching the cowboys and watching all that. And then we had a day we have anything planned, and my wife was like, you should take them up to Mount Rushmore. And I was like, you think? She goes, yeah, you should take them up to Mount Rushmore. And so my wife had a Ford Flex at the time, and you could get like 18 people in that truck. And so we all packed in, mom, dad, who else was with us? Was it
yeah.
girls? Yeah, all the kids, all the girls were with us. Millette, everybody, and off we go. It's like 4.5 hour ride, something like that. Drove up there, we go to Mount Rushmore, and my sister got out, and again, seeing things through her eyes for the first time. She was amazed. And who has seen Mount Rushmore? Anybody? Are you serious? Okay, homework assignment. Mount Rushmore, everybody should see it at least once. It's incredible. But to see and there was pictures up there of that day we were at Mount Rushmore. And I was very grateful to share that with my family. Obviously my sister. The one picture of her and I was at Mount Rushmore. She was very adamant about just getting a picture with brother. And so we did that. And I'm very thankful that I got to spend that time with her there. And she got to see that. She'd always said, I always wanted to see this. And she was, I think she was more excited than the kids were when we got in the car. And she was giddy. And she just loved going up there that day and to love the fact that I would drive 9 hours to take us up there and back. And so for that, I'm very, very appreciative and grateful. Her relationship with my wife and my kids. She loved you like a sister. She always, how's my sister? She's good. She loved you guys. She loved my kids. All of them. I have one here, one in California, one in Texas, and 3 in Wyoming. For those of you guys that follow me on Facebook, my son was the kicker at East High, and every Friday night I would post videos of him. She was the first one to come up with Landon the Leg LaRue. And it would be Friday night, and she would text me, how's the leg feel? I said, he's good. He's good. He's been practicing hard all week. He's good. She goes, okay. All right, make sure you send videos. And if the game got started a little late, she was like, where's the videos? I said, the game hadn't started or nobody scored yet, sis. As soon as they score and he kicks, I'll let you know, right? She was a huge fan of you, dude. She loved the videos I sent of you kicking. And she just loved you guys, loved you. But you You became a part of her. You really did. She loved you like a true sister. For that, I'm very, very thankful for you. I know it's getting hot in here. I know. I'm going to touch on the 14-year battle. It's been mentioned a few times. November 2009, I was in Kandahar, Afghanistan. Not a touristy place, not a place you want to be. Bad things happen there. There's a lot of bad people there. I get a phone call, or was it a phone call? I called home. And she said, I have some bad news. I said, what's that? Thinking that, cancer was the last thing in my mind when I asked, what's that? She goes, I have breast cancer. And I remember that feeling all too well. My first thoughts were, my sister's gonna die. That was my first thoughts. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go anywhere, couldn't leave. Wasn't able to come home, put my arm around her, give her a hug, tell her it's gonna be okay. We're gonna fight this tooth and nail. Come to find out I didn't need to tell her that. She'd already made up her mind. Didn't help my cause any because I really wanted to hug my sister at the time. Tell her I love her. And I know how hard that 14-year battle was on her. Again, she would never admit it. I mean, you guys, there's one thing that I have to admit about everyone in here. I'm extremely jealous of the time you got to spend with her. I didn't get that time because of my choice. My career choice took me away from her. But I'm extremely jealous of all you guys that got to spend so much time with her. Get to see her all the time. I got phone calls. I'll take those. I got visits when I was here. I'll take those too. But just for the record, you guys are very, very lucky to have spent all that time that you got with her. And for that, I'm very appreciative of you guys, all you guys that are out here. Two people here that have gone above and beyond. And I know why they do it. But my mom and dad, without them, I'm not sure where Millette would have ended up. They put their life on hold, as any parent in here would do. They put their life on hold because, especially when later on when Millette got to the point where she couldn't really, she wasn't mobile. You know, she had a cane, she had a walker, then she had a wheelchair. These two people right here, they put their life on hold to take care of her. They couldn't go anywhere, they couldn't do much. Because if one was gone, one needed to be around just in case. And I know my sister, I know she hated that. She hated it. Because, you know, she's kind of independent. A little bit. Kind of hard-headed. Elizabeth was right. She, man. But these two right here have done everything humanly possible to make sure that she was taken care of. And I'm not leaving anybody on purpose. I'm just highlighting two, because I know it's been an army. I know that. But though I can't thank you guys enough. I can't. Don't cry. Don't do it. I'll be up here. I'm getting close, I promise. I'm getting close. Elizabeth kind of touched a little bit on the journey here. Let me explain to you what it took for us to get here and how it played out. I get a phone call Friday from my mom. I was at work in Cheyenne, and I get a phone call. And I dialed in my wife as well, so we're all three on the same line. And we were asking how Millette was, and my mom said it's not good. And that, I was not aware of the severity of the situation. So my wife asked, she said, Nate, you think we should come? And as soon as she said that, my mom said yes. My mom doesn't do that. She will kind of hem and haw, and oh, it's going to be okay, and blah, blah, blah. She said yes immediately. So I knew it was bad. Afterwards, I talked to my wife, and she said, I'm looking for plane tickets already. And we talked, and hey, we have 4 pups, 4 dogs, and we have 3 cats, and we have a lot of things to worry about. So we were trying to figure out she said, I'll stay, you go, if things get bad, I'll come. And then her brother helped us out. She said, no, I'm going with you. Okay. She goes, I've made reservations for tonight. We're leaving at 6:30? Something like, no, 5:30. 5:30. We're leaving at 5:30. Talked to my boss. She talked to her boss. My boss is like, why are you still here? Got home, packed in an hour, about, and down the road we go. We're 20, 30 miles out of Cheyenne, and I said, hey, did you check us in? Because we're flying Southwest. Do you want that up front? You want to be a B or maybe a high C on Southwest so you can get a decent seat? I said, did you check us in yet? She goes, no, but I'll do it right now. She tries to check us in, and it says it's too early to check in. I was like, well, that's stupid. We're on our way down. She looked at the date. We made the reservations for Saturday, not Friday. So she immediately gets and we made car reservations and everything to go to Charlotte. We were going to Charlotte, catch a car up the road we were coming. So she called Southwest, and they don't have anything into Charlotte. And the lady's like, well, I do have this one in at 6:30. 6:30? 6?
Didn't get until
Going to Atlanta. And okay, get us on that one. We get on that one. We get down there. We had to change the car reservation, all the reservations. The lady at Southwest was amazing. She didn't charge us anything to change the reservation or nothing. So we get down there, get on the flight. It was late, an hour and a half late, which the car rental place in Atlanta closes at 2. We had plenty of time had we taken off on time. We get into Atlanta at 1:30, and we immediately go over. If anybody's ever been to Atlanta, you got to go and catch the tram to get a car and everything like that. So we get over there it was about 1:30 we got over there, right? And there's a long line at Avis, and we're standing in line for an hour. And we're like 4 people from getting a car. And we had a really good conversation with a couple from Florida. They were really cool. We talked to them the whole time. 4 people from getting a car, and the guy comes out and goes, we have no more cars. And my wife said, listen, there's a serious situation that we need to get to North Carolina. We need to get there now. And the guy's like, I'm sorry, I'm just a messenger. Threw his hands up. Said, we'll have cars available at 8 a.m. I said, well, that ain't gonna cut it. So Sandy immediately goes and starts trying to find a car at any other place. There's no cars available anywhere, nowhere. One of the car companies said, we'll have cars at 6:30. So I had to call my mom and tell her, we're stuck in Atlanta. And I know some of you guys have offered, hey, we'd come got you. I'm not going to call you up at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, can you come get me in Atlanta and turn right around and come home? I'm very appreciative of all you guys that had offered that, but I'm not going to do that to somebody. That's a long drive in itself, just getting down there and turning around and coming back. But so we tried to catch a little sleep on the floor. Didn't work very well. And then I get up. Was it 6? About 6. I get up about, no, it was like 6:30. Anyway, I get up and I go to the bathroom, and I'm in the bathroom, and I hear Sandy yelling at me, "Dan, you need to come now." And I'm thinking, hey, we got a car, we're on the road, right? No, it was a video call from Kendra. And my sister was struggling really bad. And that feeling that I had, that I am stuck, I can't be there. I'm supposed to be there for this, and I can't get there. We were on the phone for maybe 15, 20 minutes, and Sandy went up to the desk and said, "Listen, we have someone that is breathing their last breath. It's his sister. He needs to go home. He needs to get to North Carolina." The lady at first said she didn't have one, and then Sandy kind of reiterated, "Hey, we gotta go." And she goes, "Let me look." And she's like, "We do have one." Knowing full well they probably had it all night, right? So I sign, we jump in the car, it's like 7:02 in the morning in Atlanta. And we take off. You know, anybody's driven in Atlanta knows traffic in Atlanta, right? It wasn't terrible. I mean, being on a Saturday morning, it wasn't too bad. So we get to Atlanta, and we're cruising along, and I'm trying to go as fast as safely as I can, and we keep getting updates, and we hit traveler's rest like Elizabeth said, and we let them know we're in traveler's rest. And I think they said, "Yep, her heartbeat is still really good. Her breathing is not so good." Okay, I got a chance. And what's really strange is that I was in an extreme hurry, but I was calm. I just had this feeling that I was going to make it. I can't explain it. I wasn't panicked. I just had this feeling that I was going to make it. I was going to be able to see her. So we get out of Greenville, and we hit, is it 25 that comes up the mountain there? 25? Yeah, I was probably going 100 up the hill. Turned the flashers on when I hit North Carolina, and I was screaming. I was going as fast as I could safely. Cars were actually moving, getting out of the way. They saw the flashers. For those people, I'll never know who you are, but I'm appreciative. We hit 26, and my thoughts were, 26 is going to be bad. It's always bad. I see Facebook posts all the time about how bad 26 is, right? It wasn't terrible. Fortunately, the hospital was right there between Hendersonville and Fletcher. Get off the exit. Elizabeth said, "Hey, we got people at the doors waiting for you." We hit the parking spot. My wife jumped up this bank, and took off. And I was like, I've never seen her move there. That's just weird things that hit you at certain times. We hit the door. We run in. JJ's waving us, "Hurry, hurry, hurry. Hurry, hurry, hurry." 3 minutes. I got 3 minutes with my sister. Those were the most amazing 3 minutes of my entire life. I will never forget those 3 minutes. Your whole life can change in 3 minutes, and mine did. It was amazing, and I know you're sad. I'm sad my sister's gone. But those 3 minutes, I can't even express to you those 3 minutes. Obviously, I told her how much I loved her, how much I cared about her, how How much I was going to miss her. Even her hard-headedness. But I promised her that I would look after you guys. Okay? I'll be calling a whole lot more. I'll be bugging the crap out of you. But my wife even, she came up with the idea as well. She goes, you have to call them every week. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, I promised Millette I would look after them. She goes, I said, you may have to remind me once in a while to call, but I will. I'll be up in your business. Okay? Not really, but sort of. But I promise your mom, I'll make sure you're okay. Okay. So, just understand that, you know, I love you guys. A lot of people I want to thank. First of all, everyone. Everybody that's here, everybody that's come through this line, everybody that's taken the time to send a message, anybody that's taken the time to post something on Facebook. I was overwhelmed at the Facebook post. It was crazy. And I told my wife, I said, look at this, and I just kept flipping. I did not realize how much my sister meant to all of you and the thousands that are on here. And I believe that's true. There are thousands. Thousands of you guys. I didn't realize that until, unfortunately, her passing. But for that, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Especially my wife. When we were sitting in Atlanta and we were watching Millette on the phone, my wife was bawling. And she goes, I failed you. And I said, what? You failed me? She goes, my mistakes has led us to here. And I told her, I said, don't you ever feel that way. Ever. This is how God had it planned. This is what it was meant to be. I was meant to get 3 minutes. 3 minutes. That's what I was meant to be. So don't you ever, look at me, don't you ever think that you failed me. You gave me a gift. It was like a movie ending. It really was. You come riding in, you get 3 minutes, and then credits. You gave me 3 beautiful minutes. And I love you for that. Beth, raise your hand. She's put up with us this whole week. She's, thank you for being the soul that you are. To my sister, to my family. Pastor Todd, she loved you with a passion, brother. She thought the absolute world of you. And I appreciate everything you've done for my family. I'll never forget that. Thank you. And my family, all of y'all, are spread out. My family, thank you very much. Will, thank you, brother. Thank you for being a part of my sister's life. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you. I come to the end of my notes. Anybody got anything they want to say? This is a participation speech. I probably should have prefaced that at the beginning. Anybody got anything? Work husband? You good? Anybody else? I'm gonna go section by section. Anybody got anything to say? I can stand up here all day. Anybody? Tracy, thank you. Tracy started a GoFundMe page. If you are interested, see that young lady, raise your hand. See that young lady right there? She'll give you the link to the GoFundMe page. It's just going to help a little with, there's some medical issues and stuff like that, medical costs that have incurred, so. Thank you to the extended family for coming up. I appreciate it very much. Thank you guys. All the yahoos in the back, y'all good? Anything? Just kidding. Anybody in this section? Brian, you got anything? Tanya? I love you. I love you. I'm gonna leave you with this. I said this at my dad's funeral last year. There's a lot of things that get in the way of family loving each other. A lot of things. All I ask is you try to figure those out. Because you see what happens. Things get left unsaid. There's too much love that needs to happen that little things should cause that to stop. Too much. All I ask is y'all youngins, love on your folks. They're not always going to be here. And y'all folks, love on your youngins. Don't let little things come between you. It's not worth the pain afterwards. It's not worth the second guessing. It's not worth the what ifs. Don't let that happen. Because there's some what ifs. There's some regrets. I could have been a better brother. But I'll take what I got from my sister. And I will never, ever, ever forget how she loved me. Unconditionally. So, y'all do what you can with your own. Love them. Thank you, guys.